Hello class. Today I'll be speaking on cultivation theory. Cultivation theory was introduced in the mid-1960s by a professor named George Gerbner. Gerbner sought to investigate how television affects American society through his Cultural Indicators project. He argued that long-term and heavy exposure to media, like television, shapes our perception of reality and influences our beliefs and attitudes based on what we see on screen, rather than the real world around us. This summarizes the essence of cultivation theory, a concept that remains highly relevant today as we deal with the effects of a growing variety of media, from streaming services to social media feeds. Television is regarded as a strong cultural influence that shapes how viewers understand the world over time. The theory suggests that watching more television can cause people to see social reality as similar to what is shown on TV. Gerbner's key point was that television has become the main storyteller of our time, having a major and widespread impact on many American lives. However, as Gerbner noted, television brought a new kind of storytelling, one that is produced on a large scale. He did not claim that specific TV shows directly cause changes in behavior, but rather proposed that an ongoing, repeated theme present in all television content collectively influences a viewer's view of the world. It has been assumed that Gerbner's key finding was mean world syndrome. This was discovered through analysis of message systems that looked at violence in TV content and surveys. He found that people who watched a lot of TV were more likely to see the world as a more dangerous and violent place than it really is. For example, those who watched TV frequently believed that they were much more likely to become victims of crime than the actual statistics suggested. He also noted that heavy viewers tended to have more distrust and skepticism. The three-pronged approach is a research method created by George Gerbner to examine the impact of television, forming the foundation of cultivation theory. The three stages of analysis include institutional process analysis, message system analysis, and cultivation analysis. Institutional process analysis is the initial step that examines the practices of media organizations, focusing on policies, constraints, and the influences affecting media production and distribution. Gerbner noted that the profit-driven nature of media institutions often leads to overly simplified content and predictable patterns. Message system analysis is a second stage that reviews television content to identify recurring themes and patterns. Researchers analyze the content to understand the consistent lessons and facts conveyed to viewers. This analysis reveals widespread content patterns across genres, rather than focusing on specific shows. For instance, studies show that crime is significantly overrepresented on television compared to its real-world frequency. Cultivation analysis is the final phase, examining how television content influences audience perceptions of social reality. Researchers compare the beliefs of heavy and light viewers to determine if heavy viewers' perceptions align more with the distorted television world than reality, a phenomenon called the cultivation differential. Expanding on the three-pronged approach, cultivation theory offers a more comprehensive insight into the influence of media. Rather than focusing on a singular effect, Gerbner and his colleagues uncovered processes that clarify how prolonged exposure to television shapes various aspects of a viewer's perspective. Mean world syndrome, identified by Gerbner in his cultivation analysis of television violence, suggests that frequent TV viewers perceive the world as more dangerous than it is. They tend to overestimate crime rates and their risk of victimization. Research shows that heavy viewers experience greater fear and anxiety about crime, despite their actual risk being unchanged. This distorted perception can lead to increased insecurity, mistrust, and support for strict crime policies and security measures. Cultivation effects manifest at different levels of an individual's thinking. There are first-order effects, which rely on numerical beliefs about reality. For instance, regular viewers might exaggerate the number of police officers shown on TV, which distorts the true scenario. Then there's the second-order effects that pertain to qualitative influences that mold attitudes and values. Regarding crime, this can lead to distrust in others or the perception that people are more cruel than they are, shaped by recurring media narratives. Mainstreaming refers to how television merges cultural, social, and demographic differences among viewers. It delivers consistent messages, leading individuals from diverse backgrounds to develop a shared television reality as they watch the same programs. Resonance, also known as the double dose effect, enhances cultivation when viewers' real-life experiences match television messages. This alignment makes media representations seem more authentic. For example, someone who has experienced crime and watches crime dramas feels a stronger mean world message, increasing their fears compared to someone who only sees crime on TV. Since its introduction, cultivation theory has encountered various criticisms, especially regarding its research methodologies and relevance in the fast-changing media landscape. Nevertheless, the theory has adapted as researchers have responded to these critics and modified its fundamental concept to align with modern media contexts. Much of the research on cultivation relies on surveys that indicate a connection between viewing habits and worldviews, but just because there is a correlation does not mean there is a causation. Gardner's study occurred at a time when there were limited television channels. It considered television viewing as one activity, asserting that the overall message was consistent across all genres. Critics pointed out this method ignores the reality that different genres, like news and sitcoms or various channels, can have distinct effects. Ultimately, the ongoing relevance and expansion of cultivation theory underlines its important, thought-provoking claim. The media we consume is not just for entertainment or information. It acts as a powerful socializing force that subtly yet profoundly shapes our perceptions of the world. By acknowledging critics and adapting to new technologies, the theory has maintained its significance as a core element of media effects research, providing a crucial lens to examine our increasingly media-saturated lives. Thank you.